Hey, I'm Julian.
And I'm Brittany, and this is
Young, Dumb, and in Love. Well, you know what today is. It's Valentine's Day.
So make sure you make that special someone feel special. Card, chocolate. Men, listen to me.
Listen to her.
Do something.
Do something.
Write a little note.
Write a note.
Put it in the bathroom.
Put it in the bathroom.
Put it on the, I don't know.
Hide it.
Hide it? No, make sure she sees it so you don't get in trouble.
No, hide it so she finds it later. Do something.
Do something.
Like
anything.
Don't do nothing.
Yeah, learn from Julian's mistakes.
To every guy out there that has a wife that says she doesn't want anything for her birthday, I'm going to give you some advice. It's a lie!
I have made many mistakes when it comes to Valentine's Day or birthdays.
It's okay though.
I'm learning. I'm growing in my journey.
But celebrate love. Happy Valentine's Day.
Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about why we're doing Young, Dumb, and in Love.
Yeah.
Also, our love story. How did Brittany and Julian become who they are today? Why did they get married? How young were they? The whole entire story.
Yeah, I think that, for us, we've watched a lot of marriages through our time being married.
Yep.
And we've watched painful things. We've watched amazing things. And our marriage is far from perfect, but we want to be able to have a safe space for people to listen in, maybe get advice, share what they're going through, get some encouragement, and know that they're not alone.
That's right.
So that's kind of the heart behind it. And
Yeah, so our ultimate goal is that we can help people just have better marriages.
Yeah, definitely.
And so even if we do this and one couple, their marriage is saved.
Yeah.
Like that, it's completely worth it. So, but let's talk about our story, and who we are, and how this all came to be.
Yeah.
You want to start?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, I'm the young of the young, dumb, and in love.
and I'm 100% the dumb in this.
That's not true. So Julian and I met when I was 16, and Julian was, were you 8? Julian was 18.
No, I was 18.
You were 18.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's where we get the dumb and young part. We met, I was in high school. Julian had just graduated and moved to the small town that I grew up in the state of Washington.
Yep.
And moved there to do an internship at a church that I was involved in. And everyone thought he was like so cute. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. And I like to pride myself on being kind of like an independent woman. And I kind of was like that even as a teenager. And I was like, whatever. He's like old. And I thought he looked older.
I had a soul patch at the time.
He's old. And I'm not like, he's cute, but like, no, I am not going to get married young. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to get a job and I'm going to work hard and I don't need a man type of thing. That was kind of,
Yeah. And when I showed up to Puyallup, I remember thinking to myself in Washington, like, okay, a fresh start. It's going to everything from my past, all the people I know. I get to just start over.
Yeah,
and it was refreshing. And growing up in New Mexico, it's just a different culture compared to Washington. And in New Mexico, there's a certain type of person there, and you go to Washington, and there's a certain type of person there. And I remember walking in, and my whole life, I've always loved blondes, and my whole life. That's what I wanted. I wanted to marry a blonde woman, and that's what my desire was, right? And so I get to Washington, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's blondes everywhere. Like, what did I just drive into? But obviously, I wasn't allowed to date, so I kind of had to go like, all right, well, I'm just gonna do my thing and keep to myself. And so I started the internship, and I remember seeing this girl, and she was working in the coffee shop, and I hated coffee at the time, like. Hated. Like, I did not.
Literally hates coffee. That's ridiculous.
Literally did not like coffee at all. And but I saw her and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get some coffee from this girl. So I start going and getting coffee from her, and it was awful. Like, I hated it. I would take a couple sips and just throw it away. But I
made good coffee.
Yeah.
You didn't like coffee.
I didn't like coffee.
Yeah.
100%. Your vanilla latte was amazing.
It was a white chocolate mocha
or whatever. Memories, sometimes they get lost in the mix, but I would do that all the time, and I just would, I was kind of like a stalker. Like I would sit in the front row all the way to the left of church, and she would sit in the front row all the way to the right. And I remember I would like lean forward and kind of like,
I was like, he is staring at me.
And I'm like, sorry, Pastor, I'm not paying attention.
Oh my gosh.
And I would literally just stare at her, and I could see her kind of look at me, and I'm like, I think I'm being a creep. Like this might be a little creepy, but I can't help myself. Because I was falling in love with somebody I've never like really hung out with. It was crazy. But yeah. And then we met. Actually, I met her mom.
Everyone loves my mom.
Yeah, we love her mom. But I met her mom, and I began to like talk to her mom a lot. I'd find her after church. She was awesome. She was super cool and fun.
But she's married, so
yeah. Nothing like that at all.
That wasn't gonna work out.
Yeah, nothing like that at all. Trust me. But she was super cool, and I was like, okay, if this was Brittany's like this is going to be amazing, and I can't wait.
That's so funny.
But yeah, that's kind of how it all started with us, and I wasn't even allowed to date, but man, I was definitely pursuing her with my eyes, just always looking.
Well, and I remember when I first started to think, oh, maybe I kind of have a little crush on him, but all the girls had a crush on him, and I just didn't like that feeling of like, oh, whatever. And I remember one day we were at church, because that's where our story really started, and my mom leaned over and was like, I don't know why, but I just like feel like you're gonna marry that guy. And she was pointing to Julian, and he was on stage, and I was like, Mom, what? And she's like, I know, it's super weird. I mean, I was like, maybe I was 17.
I think so, yeah.
Maybe I had just turned 17. So of course I'm like, Mom, no, that's so weird. And I wasn't really sure at the time how old he was either. But she was right. So here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm super grateful for your mom to tell you that, because, and then it was just so funny because when she told me that, I remember thinking to myself, like, okay, like her mom, like my relationship with her mom of like just getting to know her and talking to her. I think maybe, the Lord spoke to her in that moment and spoke to you. And I had no clue that even happened.
So listen to your mama.
Yeah, exactly. Listen to your mama. That's for sure.
It was funny because we didn't break the rules and date, because you couldn't date, but we did kind of start talking as friends. And Julian would like call with his
my sexy voice.
Yeah, hello,
this is Julian. How are you doing?
I'm definitely the more like, hi, okay. But we started talking, and then I remember I was like, I want him to know that like I'm interested in him. And we were at someone else's wedding. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do.
I probably had this was like a few months before the internship, and I was like, there was a car.
We have
old
about
cars.
To end, yeah.
So we have old cars. My grandparents do, and they were using the old car as like their marriage getaway car. Yeah. And he was like, oh my gosh, that car is so cool. And I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna be my car. That's my car. My grandparents bought it, and it's like my car. And he was like, that's your car? And I was like, yeah, there's a car show in the summer if you want to go together, just to kind of like throw it out there. Yeah, maybe a little too forward now when I think about it. So anyway, we started dating in 2005, 6505.
Yep.
I remember.
Yep.
Don't worry, it's not our password or anything.
No, it is not.
6505, we started dating and got married a year later.
Yeah.
Got engaged March of 2006.
Yep.
And been married for it'll be 16 years this year. So it's been 15 years. And I mean, I think that the biggest reason we wanted to start this is because there were a lot of times in our marriage that we could have thrown in the towel. Easily. I mean, honestly, I remember in the first couple weeks of being married to Julian, I remember sitting on my mom's bed and thinking and asking my mom, can't I just divorce him? Like, can't we just like, no harm, no foul, just this was a mistake. And
I find all this out later. It's like I had no clue whatsoever. Years later, she tells me about it. I'm like, for real?
For real. But there were a lot of times we could have thrown in the towel.
Yeah.
Different seasons of change, arguments, not agreeing on where our life was going, what we wanted to do, which a lot of that was probably getting married young.
Yep.
And being dumb.
Yep.
But I think that's why we wanted to start this. Is like we've walked through seasons and we want to be able to help people.
Yeah.
And we've watched other marriages fail that have sat in that position. And we've watched other marriages thrive that have chosen to work in the relationship.
Work through it, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we started. So now we've been married 15 years.
Yeah.
So fast forward to 30 somethings, mid 30 somethings.
I can't believe it.
I know.
It's crazy. We were
I
just,
look at you and I'm like, yeah, he's totally in his 30s. And then I look at me and I'm like,
I'm not in my
not
30s.
in my 30s, but
I know.
here we are.
I know.
I'm in my 30s now. Like I'm in them.
Yeah. And like she was saying, it's been a journey. Like,
Yeah.
and when I say I was the dumb, I honestly really mean it, because I made a lot of mistakes. I was a kid. I was a dumb boy, and I didn't like do anything like bad, you know, necessarily. I didn't like
there wasn't one huge thing.
Yeah,
did
it
that
wasn't.
Was
I wasn't
that's
like
a deal breaker.
Yeah, I didn't
something.
like do bad things. It was more of I made poor choices for our life, right? Moving different places, doing certain things, taking different jobs, whatever. And I'm telling you right now, so many times she would tell me it's not right. Something doesn't feel right. I don't know about it. And I'm like, it's fine. I'm a 7 on the Enneagram. So I'm always like, it's fine. We're fine. Let's do it. Let's go party. Woo! And she's a 6. And I'm like, she tells me something. And I'm like, oh, you're just scared. It's fine. You know, and which is really good for us because we actually balance each other out really well in our marriage. And when it comes to our Enneagram.
Yeah, because I would be super boring.
Oh my gosh. She would sit
I would
at
just
home.
drink coffee, read books, go for walks and runs, ride my Peloton, and go
be
to
at
bed.
home. And that's it.
it.
And I'm like,
super boring.
let's go to Disneyland.
Okay, well, I would probably go to Disneyland.
Yeah.
With or without you.
That is, but that's the difference between the two of us.
Totally.
She's chill. I'm like, what's the next thing?
Yeah.
Let's go party. Let's do this.
Which, I mean, we'll talk a lot about that in our podcast, that when you are so different from each other, it can be such a huge hurdle. Like that beginning love is so exciting.
Yeah.
And then you start to realize like, shoot, this person is completely fundamentally different than I am.
Yeah.
From our childhoods, which we'll talk a lot about that.
Yeah.
We grew up in completely different parts of the country,
different cultures,
total different families, different cultures. You grew up in church. I did not grow up in church.
Yep.
Your parents were married. My parents were divorced.
I mean, everything that could be opposite, basically.
You know, I'm the oldest child. You're the baby.
Yeah.
You know, I'm blonde. You have black hair. I mean, we couldn't be any more opposite.
Yeah.
And so it was like bringing two polar opposites, but we were madly in love. Yeah. And so it'll be a fun journey. I love to share. The thing about me and Julian is we are raw and very open, which he gets from me.
I do get that from you. Yeah. Cause I grew up where I wasn't exactly like raw and open. Yeah. Like I kind of kept to myself. Yeah. Didn't really talk about like anything. Personal things. And she's really like taken my heart and opened it up. And like, now I'm like, I can't shut up because I'm always like, here's my heart.
I have to be like,
Julian, stop.
Which is funny because I grew up and we're very open.
Yeah.
You know, but I think that's what's exciting to talk about and work through these things with people and kind of sharing our story of like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
How do you take two people from two completely different places? You're already married. So you've already made that commitment.
Yep.
And you're determined to stick to that commitment, but you're completely different.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at someone thinking, oh no, I love you, but we're going to be together forever. Yeah. And we need to figure this out. And how are we going to do this? Yeah. So we're excited about that.
Yeah. And that's the journey that we want to take you on.
Yeah.
Is how did we do it? You know, how are we more in love today than we were when we first got married? Yeah. I mean, I was smitten with her when we first got married. I mean, like head over heels. I'm like, I better get this over with because if she realizes who she's going to marry, she's not going to marry me. Like literally that's going on in my mind. That's so funny. And now I'm like even more in love with her. Like I can't take my eyes off of her. I'm constantly giving her compliments like all the time. I'm obsessed with Brittany. And today I'm literally more in love with her. And I think it has a lot to do with just our journey with each other. Like we've learned so much together. We've grown up together. A lot of couples, they get married older these days. And we got married young. And I'll be honest, like I had family members calling me saying, don't get married. Like, don't do this. This is a bad idea. Yeah. You're making a wrong decision. I had friends who said I'm just not making a good choice. And we had people had bets, you know, that she was pregnant and all this stuff. And it was just, it was,
I would have thought the same thing.
There was a lot of doubt and a lot of negativity on our marriage. Mm-hmm. And now I'm kind of like, we showed you, like, that's kind of what I'm thinking, like in my mind sometimes, like we showed you, like we have a great marriage. We have something to really offer people. And you know, like she said at the very beginning, we're not perfect.
No.
I mean, far from it, especially me. But the truth is that with our imperfections, we're able to look at each other and have grace. We're able to have love. We're able to really just push through the things that maybe bug us about each other, because there's always stuff like that, right? Look at your spouse. There's things that are different. You know, there are things that you're
and
like.
I think too, it's important to know, like, we didn't necessarily come out in the beginning of our marriage and say, that bugs me, that bugs me.
No, not at all.
That's a journey.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't say get married and right away just like list all the things you don't love about each other, or you don't like, or you find out, you know, because that's not, it took us a long time to get to this place of like transparency,
100%,
but like how to get to that place faster, how to get to that place sooner.
Things we wish we would have known to help us do that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, so now here we are. We live in a different state. We live where the palm trees are and the sun shines. It's so February happy. And we took our dogs for the walk today. And it was just 80
degrees outside.
Yeah, it's so nice. But not to brag.
I'm bragging.
Raising our two daughters. We're both self-employed. We both work for ourselves.
Yep, self-employed.
You know, and our life looks a lot different than we thought it would.
Yeah.
You know, but this is an opportunity for us to take what we've done for a long time in our history and be able to share it with people.
Yeah. And we're super excited to do that with you. So make sure you do this. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast. Make sure you subscribe to YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram. We're going to be sharing a lot of stuff all the time because we just, like I said, our ultimate goal is that we can help people. Above everything else, nothing else. We just want to help people be better at their marriages, be a better man, be a better woman.
Yeah.
And just, we want to help you. And that's our heart. And that's our goal. And I think we can do that. I think we could do that with you if you can commit to just walk this journey with us. If you have questions, ask any question that you have. And and here's what I'm saying. Brittany said, we're very raw. We're very open. We are as raw as it gets. We're going to tell you the truth. We're going to talk to you. We want to walk through life with you, but just ask any question. No, there are no limits. There is no shame. There is nothing like that whatsoever. We want to help you just make good choices in your relationships and grow.
Yeah. I forgot to add one more thing.
Okay, go ahead.
We also have two beautiful daughters.
Gosh.
That we'll probably talk about all the time, but we'll talk about parenting.
Yep.
What it looks like after you bring a kiddo in after being married for a season, or if you already have kids.
And all the parents are like,
ah! But I grew up, you know, if you already have kids and you get married, navigating that, different things.
That'll be
a fun one. We have two beautiful daughters.
Oh yeah.
That we love and adore.
We love, adore. So it's so funny. Kids are
game changers.
Like
game changers.
Like we had a life. We're like doing whatever we want. And then a kid comes in. We're like, okay, we can like bring them into our life. No, they're in control. You know what I'm saying? And then you bring a second one in. And the age gap for us is pretty big.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Everything is,
crazy.
Sometimes I'm like, help me, Lord. But you know, we're figuring it out. We're making it happen. So it's a journey. But hey, thank you so much for listening today. I think that as we go through this, that we're going to grow together. We're going to learn so many great things together. I think for us, this is probably going to be a growth challenge for us because we've never done something like this before. And you're probably going to see us, I don't know, bicker at each other. We're not fighting. We're just bickering. We're having fun. But that's what we do. We have fun and we tell the truth. And I also, as we're raw, there's going to be things that said that you're like, oh man, someone's feelings might be hurt, but
it's okay.
It's okay. Like we're able to be raw now with each other to the point where it's okay. And we just have real conversations, and our goal is that you can get there too.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thank you so much for listening. I'm glad that you guys are here today. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast, to our YouTube channel, and follow us on Instagram, and just stick around with us as we go on this journey with each other. And hey, until next time, we'll see you.
Ew, it's all greasy. Sorry.